Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, continuing on with my tarot tips and tricks. And today we are looking at the differences between the major arcana and the minor arcana. So as you can see, I have got a picture here of the major arcana, starting with the Fool, the Magician, the the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death and Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment and the World. So they are the 22 cards of the major arcana. So when these cards turn up in a reading, they're supposed to point when something or give you a red flag when something major is happening in your life. However, I'm here to tell you that the major arcana can just pick up the everyday mundane things that are happening in your life. So just because you pull a major card, it doesn't mean that something major is happening. It's just trying to draw your attention to something that's happening in the card that is actually happening in your life right now. So it might be like a very, very minor detail. So to give you an example, if we are looking at the Strength card, I had a question not too long ago asking me if it was safe. A client of mine wanted to know if they should go and visit a place that they were thinking of visiting because, you know, with the virus and things that is happening. So it was only 3 cards and the third card was the Strength card. Now, as soon as I saw the Strength card, the thing that I was drawn to the most was just the mouth of the actual line. So this is what I mean when you get a major card. There might be something in there that the tarot is trying to tell you. Something is trying to tell you that there isn't an image in the minor arcana cards that it can point to, so a major one has turned up. So that's what I mean by saying that just because it's a major card, it can mean, you know, a mundane type of a meaning. Now, of course, since this question has been asked, the virus has gone mental, but that was the question, just if they should go and ask. So like I said, I was drawn to the mouth, and I told my client no, not to go. The reason being because people are not taking precautions. So they're not coughing into their elbow like you're supposed to. They're not staying home when they're sick. They're not wearing masks when they're out and about if they are sick. And I just said to them, no, I think, you know, it's better off if you stay home. And also a Strength, the reason people are doing this is because they are well in themselves, they are strong, but they're not thinking of other people around them who have a compromised immune system. So I've been sick now for well over a week with asthma, and my chest is killing me. It's so sore because I've been coughing so much right up into under my armpits. That's how sore I have been. So I'm one of those people that who've got a low immune system because I'm an asthmatic, and here in Australia even the asthmatic puffers are running out now. Now luckily, before all the crap hit the fan, I had an inkling that this would happen, and I already had food stocked up, and I actually brought an inhaler just in case, you know. I had one to the side because my asthma I've had ever since I was a child, but it usually lasts like, I might get an asthma attack once a year now, when I used to get sick all the time, constantly, particularly when I lived in Melbourne. So, you know, I always made sure I have a backup puffer because it hits me out of nowhere type of thing. But this time what happened to me is I got a viral chest infection, and because I'm a bronchial asthmatic, so what that usually means is I get bronchitis as well as asthma at the same time, it turned into asthma, and yeah, so I'm still sick. Today I'll probably feel better than what I have in a while, but I'm not there. I'm still not right. You know, I still can't walk or do anything like that. So, you know, so this is what I mean. So that's what I told my client is that, you know, people are not caring. You know, they're thinking it's just a cold and they're fine, and they're going to go out and do their everyday things, but they're not thinking of other people out there, you know, who've got a low immune system. And, you know, and I've heard, you know, people got diabetes, they are recovering from cancer, you know, there's lots of things. So people might look healthy on the outside, but they're not on the inside. So that was my advice. So, and that's what I got just out of the mouth of the lion. Okay, and then after that, I you know, in the background I noticed there was a mountain, and actually where they were actually going was to a mountainous range. So for me that was a clear message for them not to actually go. So if you're thinking of the minor cards, Arcana cards, I can't off the top of my head think that there is somewhere that's got a mouth like that in the actual, you know, the minor suite. So that's why I tell you that when it is a major Arcana card, that you know, it can point to something minor. So it was just a, you know, it was just an everyday type of a question. And this, mind you, this was done before, you know, the virus really spread like wildfire as well. This was probably a couple of weeks ago now. But now we are learning that, you know, it hangs around a lot longer than what we thought, didn't we? So I hope they did take my advice and didn't go. So now we are going to be looking at the minor, just so you can actually see what the, you know, what the minor cards look like. And I have got the suit of wands here. So we're starting off with the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands, 10 of Wands, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, King of Wands, and for some reason the Queen of Pentacles is not there. For some reason the Five of Cups is there. So I don't know what happened, but usually that's the Queen there. And on the other side there, you'll notice I've got the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Cups, just so you can see the different suits in the tarot, which all range from Ace right through up to the Queen. So that's what the minor ones. So the minor ones are supposed to point to when something, you know, everyday mundane matters of life type of thing. So the wands element, of course, we know is fire. Sometimes swords is swapped. Sometimes in particular decks like my Celtic Dragon Tarot, the sword suite is a fire, and then they've used the wands as the air. So, you know, different decks will swap them around. But the majority have wands as fire, pentacles as earth, swords as air, and cups as water. So, of course, you know, sometimes where things get confusing, if you're doing a career reading and you get all cups, for instance, when you're hoping maybe you might get pentacle, you might not get one pentacle card in the entire reading. So what you do is you're going to have a look at what that, you know, what that element is actually telling you in this reading. What type of emotions, what are you emotionally attached when it comes to your career? Is there something that needs to be worked through before you can get to the enthusiasm of the fire in the wand suit? Gosh, I can't talk today. And then hence get on into the pentacles type of the suit. So, and another thing with the minor too is when you are doing a spread. Now, as general, I don't use spreads. I just shuffle, and when a card pulls up, I lay them out until I feel I've got enough cards. But if you are doing a spread and there is a suit that is missing, so say you have got, you might just have cups and pentacles and swords, but there is no wands. So what you have to think when that happens is, so okay, the fire element is missing. So what am I missing? What does that bring to the reading? Do you know what I mean? So what does that bring to the meeting when that suit is missing in your actual reading? You might have one of all cards, you know, there might be every single element is and suit is in your reading, but more often than not you'll find that, you know, one or two are missing. And a good rule of the thumb is to have a look at what that would bring to your reading, like, because it's missing, what is missing in your reading, what is missing when it comes to the question that you're being asked. So that's another thing with minor cards as well, is to just actually, you know, have a look at what might be missing. Always relevant, always think of the question that's being asked, because it's very, very easy to, when you're reading the tarot, to get caught up in the images and forget about what the question is asked, and then your mind is all over the shop. So always keep that question firmly in mind, and it's always very important to have a very clear, concise question asked when you are consulting the tarot, except if you're doing the good old what can you tell me, or what do I need to know now type of a scenario, then, you know, that's fine. But still, that is a question and something to focus on, and then you can, you know, do your reading per se. So also, I suppose we're going to touch on the numbers as well. So of course the ace is of new beginnings, and the 2 ranges from choices and balance and that type of thing. 3s are like a group type of an flavor into the reading. 4s are stability. 5 is more of like arguments, loss, depending on the suit. 6 is a number of victory, but also in the 6 of Swords, it's also leaving something behind, moving on to smoother waters. 7 is usually a changing your strategy or a type of a battle. 8 can represent news or just taking a pause, again, depending on the suit. 10 can be burdens as well. So even though you might have, let's say, the 10 of Cups, but you might find that there's too much happiness. Now, that I know that you're going to say, what? How can anyone have too much happiness? But if you are suffering from, say, a mental illness, particularly in bipolar, sometimes you go from one extreme to the next. You're super happy, and then you're super depressed. So that's what I mean about you can have too much of a good thing. And then you go to the Page, which is usually knowledge, searching for some type of knowledge, news, that type of thing. Knights are pursuing what you're going after, that type of thing. Kings is being in control of the sort of the kingdom around you, what's sort of around you, where the Queen is more of a domestic type of vibe, and by that I mean being in control of the inner environment of yourself and how you react to type of things. So that's just a very general touching on the numbers, because I myself, when I read the tarot, I don't particularly pay attention to the what number is in the the numbers that are in my reading, unless I've got 3 or 4 of the same number. Then I will pay attention and see what the numbers are telling me. But usually I don't, because I'm a visual reader. For me, it's all about the images on the tarot and what they're telling me, relevant to the question asked, and what I'm using it for. So that's just me. So I don't use the astrological associations with the tarot either, though you might like to do that. I don't do that either. I just read the images. That's probably the clearest way I can say it. I just read the images. So that's it for the major and minor arcana. Just remember, the major can point to something minor happening in your life, and of course vice versa. The minor can point to something major happening in your life as well, So don't just think that, don't get stereotyped into believing that type of a thing. Until next time, this is Tracy.